So far this MLS season, the Revolution have been one of the league's surprises. Although they weren't touted to do much in 2023, the Revs sit atop the Eastern Conference 5 weeks in. Who said Bruce Ball was outdated? A revelation at the core of their success is 17-year-old midfielder Noel Buck, who's started in all 5 MLS games so far and even got himself a winning goal this weekend. Because of his recent performances, the whole "when's he gonna go to Europe" talk has commenced on social media. Even Buck himself referenced that he has aspirations to go abroad, seemingly sooner than later. But let's pump the brakes on the hype a little bit, as addictive and fun as it can be. How good is Noel Buck actually, and does he have what it takes to make it in Europe right now? First, let's talk about the man, or kid, himself. Growing up in Arlington, Massachusetts, Buck came through the Revolution Youth Pipeline and made his first appearance for the Revs last season. He didn't get a ton of time last year, and he played more of an auxiliary role in the Revs' build-up play, but he did score this rocket in his second ever start for the club. This year, it's been a different story for Buck. In Bruce Arena's Diamond 4-4-2, he's played as a number 8 alongside Latif Blessing. When Arena has decided to opt for a 4-2-3-1, like he did this past weekend, Buck has been partnered with Matt Polster in the double pivot. In both systems, Buck has really stood out. The biggest thing that jumps off the screen when you watch Noel Buck play is his long-range passing and his vision. When he has the time to look up and pick a pass, he rarely gets it wrong. This season, he has a 74.1% long pass completion rate, which is better than 81% of MLS midfielders over the past calendar year. He's great at switching the point of attack, and he loves himself a little through ball to break lines. Just look at this pinpoint ball he played into the path of Brandon Bai on Saturday, which should have led to a goal. In fact, as a deep-lying midfielder, a lot of his passes are leading to quality chances. Advanced analytics back this up. Through his appearances over the past year, he averages .21 expected assisted goals per game. This means that the Revs are getting .21 XG per game only from Noel Buck's passes that lead to shots. That metric is better than 96% of midfielders in MLS. Now, what do advanced analytics say about his passes from deeper positions? Buck's numbers are even more impressive. According to Wisecout, throughout Noel Buck's career, he averages .46 XG build-up per game. If you have no idea what this means, I don't blame you. I had to look this up. Basically, XG build-up measures the XG contribution a deeper lying action has to a particular shot on goal. Buck's tally at .46 XG build-up per game is one of the best in MLS. Another one of the reasons why Noel Buck has been succeeding in MLS is something that can't be measured by a statistic: his maturity in possession. Sometimes you can just tell when a player is young based on how they move on the field. Not with Noel Buck. He looks measured with the ball at his feet, and he rarely forces things or makes incorrect decisions. Even at his young age, he's even shown some leadership qualities, with him directing senior players around the pitch like he's a full-fledged veteran. Looking at all this, it's easy to understand the hype around Buck, but there are some limits to his game currently. For one, he's not the most athletic. His recovery speed isn't the fastest, and he regularly gets burned in a sprint. This really affects his ability going forward, as he lacks a burst of acceleration to get by defenders in the attacking third, and he doesn't have quick feet to dribble out of tight spaces. This season, when he's taken on a player on the dribble, he's lost the ball 50% of the time. The biggest weakness in Buck's game, though, is his ability and decision-making under pressure. I said before that Buck is fantastic when he has the time to look up and pick a pass. When he doesn't, though, he regularly makes wrong choices. This is particularly evident with his back to goal. He's pretty bad on the half turn, and if he doesn't have a readily available passing option, he seems to panic at times. New England have yet to play a structured pressing team outside of an A- LAFC team, and have the third most attacking touches in the league because of that. I expect against a structured, press-heavy team like NYCFC this week, Buck might struggle. Granted, in the long term, this issue could go away after Buck has a chance to get used to the speed of the professional game. But the long term isn't right now, or even this year. You can probably guess what my conclusion of all of this is, but I'll still spell it out for you. No, I don't think Noel Buck is ready for Europe. Buck is obviously a talented player with a great soccer IQ, but he's still a raw prospect right now. As is the case with many super young players, he's still pretty one-dimensional. He's mature and picks a pass like few can in MLS, but the rest of his game needs improvement. If he is to develop into a deep-lying playmaker type, which I think is the best for him going forward, he needs to adjust to the men's game physically and mentally. He's still growing into his frame, and he needs to develop physically in order to make up for his lack of athleticism in transition and in tight spaces. This will also help him become more comfortable with pressure at his back. He's not bad defensively, and he makes really smart challenges at times, but he still needs to show more consistency to be able to really thrive. Overall, Noel Buck really intrigues me as a prospect, and he no doubt has a high ceiling. We'll be able to see how high it really is as the season goes on.